it do, everybody? It's your boy King Crowder, checking again with another edition of History That You May Not Know and Things That Will Blow Your Mind. Today's lesson will be on the story of John Stanly. John Stanly was a free black man and a black slave owner. His reign was from 1774 and he passed away around 1845. John was an entrepreneur, land free owner in Bern, North Carolina. He was a son of an unknown slave woman, and his father was a white merchant named John Wright Stanley. He gained his freedom in 1798, and he built a successful barbering business and amassing a large personal fortune around that time. So let's break this down. Right when Jim Crow slavery is crazy, emancipation, John Stanly was a multimillionaire in ways. He was a multimillionaire in North Carolina, New Bern, North Carolina to be specific. He purchased his freedom from an enslaved family member. He also assisted in getting his freedom from other family members as his businesses became successful. The one interesting fact about Stanley is that he built his amassed fortune on a black of enslaved labor. After building up a successful barber business, he depended on two enslaved barbers at this time named Brewster in Boston to run the business. So he had enough of a relationship with the enslaved at that time to allow them to have their own clientele and develop the barber business. But the ironic part was they were enslaved and he was a formerly enslaved person. Stanley owned several plantations along the Newson River. There he cultivated cotton and produced turpentine in his area. In the 1820s, he owned and rented services to over 160 black enslaved. Wait a minute. This gentleman owned 160 blacks enslaved in the 1800s, the early 1800s? Stanley's net worth was so large that he became one of the richest people in Craven County in North Carolina. At his height in New Bern, he was in full ownership as the top attorney named Stephen F. Miller. He was known as one of the top leaders in the county. The downfall of Mr. Stanley was that he co-signed a loan for his white half-brother. The irony of it is that when he co-signed this loan, his white half-brother did him dirty. He didn't pay on the loan, he defaulted, and since Stanley was a black man in a racist Castilian state, they took all his property. They took everything from his amassed fortune that he gained, and they pursued everything so he could be broke. The one thing that was truly ironic, even though Stanley did all that and was self-made, he was forced to sell all of his assets, including his enslaved people. He faced a financial tough time, and the creditors wanted to seize everything from him. Now, we all know that this wouldn't have happened if he was of the right person within a racial hierarchy in America. One thing that was really crazy is that Stanley lived very large, but he died relatively broke. It is truly remarkable how this history is known that we don't know that there were black, wealthy slave owners in the South in the 1800s. I was truly amazed because I never knew or heard of this. And this bit of history is never told. It's truly remarkable to know that things like this happen and it wasn't all perceived one way. Other parts of history and gems that we do not know that is really important. John Stanley from New Bern, North Carolina, an enslaved, freed himself entrepreneur who owned over 160 slaves at his height. Who would know? This is King Crowder again, checking that back out with a gem. I will have the resources available for you so you can check it out and see it yourself. Peace.